Um, so that brings us to our last thing that we're going to talk about today, which is the new John Williams documentary on Disney Plus or Superbox, if you happen to have it. I don't know if it was on Hulu because I know Hulu is owned by Disney, so it might be on there as well. Is there like an official title? Is it called like The Music of John Williams or something like that?
I think it's just called John Williams. Let me check.
Let me check.
Let me check over
I
here.
did have a picture up here that I was going to share. John Williams documentary. It is Music by John Williams is the name of this documentary. So what you think? I just finished watching it maybe a couple hours ago, right before we got on the show. Yeah. What you think of it?
It's kind of crazy how much music he's created in our lives. And all these amazing movies that we've loved and watched growing up, that he's had a part in creating some amazing cinematic moments.
Yeah.
It's astonishing how much he's been a part of that.
Oh yeah. This is like this documentary made me happy and sad all at the same time because this is a special talent, right? And there used to be a lot of people like him in Hollywood back in the day, right? There were a lot of brilliant people, and we didn't necessarily look at them as all brilliant because there were a lot of them, right? And now we only have a couple of them left, right? We only have one Spielberg left and a Scorsese and a John Williams. Who else do we have? Like Spielberg was a big part of this documentary because he worked with John Williams on every movie that he ever made.
Yeah.
And like you look at the stuff that Spielberg has made with the movies that he's made, and you're like, holy shit, like half my childhood I can dedicate to Steven Spielberg, you know? And like they're all like this guy's in his 90s, like John Williams in his 90s. This guy's not going to be around much longer. Steven Spielberg is probably in his 70s or 80s. He's not going to be around much longer. Like, who is the next generation of genius and brilliant creative mind? And I don't know if we have one. It's not James Gunn. It ain't J.J. Abrams, who's all over this all over this documentary.
Yeah.
Like,
they were pushing him like crazy in this.
And I was so sad to be like, damn, like we're not going to have this in 10 years. Steven Spielberg will probably be dead. Or this guy will definitely be dead in 10 years. I mean, he looks phenomenal and he has his wits about him. John Williams, like I couldn't believe how like lucid and with it he was for a 90-something-year-old man. But I don't think these guys are going to last another decade or two. Definitely not John Williams. John Williams will be dead within the next 10 years. I don't think he's going to live to 100 or 110. And I hope he does. I really do. I hope he does. I hope he gives us more amazing music. So that's the sad part of this. That was the sad part, and that's just the negative me looking at this in a negative light, saying there's nothing in the future for us to look forward to. All right.
Yeah.
The happy part of this documentary for me was I got the chills every time one of the themes came on that he wrote. Right. They play the Star Wars themes, and I'm not a big Star Wars guy, but it's nostalgic and it brings me back and it reminds you of a happy moment in a movie or a happy moment in your childhood. They play the Jurassic Park theme. They play the Jaws theme. They play the Harry Potter theme, the E.T. theme. And then they show things that he's done that I didn't know he did, right? I didn't know he had any part in the Olympic song. Like the
NBC News.
NBC News. The Olympic song to me, like that is like I'm a very big Olympics fan. Ever since I was a little kid, I was obsessed with the Olympics. Hey, Billy Judd's here. What's up, bud?
Hey, Billy.
Good to see you. You got to get here an hour early every week, man. We need you in the chat earlier. But thanks for joining us. We do appreciate you being here. But that Olympic song, like that gives me the chills every time I hear it.
Okay, so you didn't know it was him, but after listening to it,
sounds a lot like other
his
things.
Signature all over it.
All over it. All over it. And a lot of his stuff does, right? A lot of his stuff sounds like Indiana Jones and Superman. And, like and I didn't know he did Home Alone. Home Alone is very unique,
Yeah.
and every time they played a song, I would get chills, and it's 2 hours of that. It's 2 hours of hearing this guy's songs, 2 hours of hearing this guy's brilliance, and 2 hours of people singing his praises. And if you like John Williams and you like his songs, you're gonna absolutely love the documentary. There was a point where I was a little bored, and I was like, "Wow, this is long." And my wife
Yeah.
was looking at me, she's like, "This is long." And I hit pause to see how much time was left, and there was a half an hour left.
Yeah.
I was like, "I don't know if I can do this," but I
Towards
waited
the
and
Yeah, the last 20 minutes, I think he's talking about like a like it's almost like a retreat somewhere up in around
Mhm. God.
Massachusetts,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
some of the best musicians in the world go there,
yeah.
and he has that was showing like a concert that he does at the end right now.
The concert at the end was at the Hollywood Bowl, which I was like, "I wanna go to this. This looks like a fun friggin' show, man." With all
Mhm.
the lightsabers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That looked like a fun show. It wasn't like a bunch of stuck up, orchestra people. Like, I've been to those shows too, but
Yeah,
this looked
one
like
of
a
the
lot of fun.
parts that I found very interesting was, um, after I did Star Wars and everything, the Boston Philharmonic,
The
like,
Boston Pops.
the Boston yeah, he became, like, the maestro of the Boston Pops, right?
Yeah, mhm.
I guess that's
Yeah, I guess
a
it's a big
big
thing.
deal, right?
Yeah,
But the musicians didn't respect him because
yeah,
they thought of film music scores as lowbrow as
right.
compared to like classical like Mozart and everything like that.
Mhm, and he
And
quit.
like he quit because they didn't focus and they didn't respect him.
Yeah,
But then they came back together and they reconciled their differences and whatnot. But I found that part very interesting. Like there was a
yeah,
little hate on what he like quote unquote real like classical trained musicians didn't respect his body of work because it was for film. I thought that was amazing.
Billy asked a question here. He says, "Was he better than Hans Zimmer?" Now, I gotta be honest, I'm not up on what Hans Zimmer has done. So let me take a
Okay,
look at Hans
let's
Zimmer
okay.
songs or whatever. Let's see. Hans Zimmer, he's worked on Interstellar, The Pacific, Inception, Dune, Dunkirk, Kung Fu Panda, Dark Knight, Batman vs Superman, Batman Begins, Sherlock Holmes, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say that
Did he do who did Robin Hood Prince of Thieves? Because that's one of my favorite scores. I always thought it was John Williams, but it's not him.
let me see. I know Brian Adams did
Yeah.
the
I
soundtrack.
mean, we all know that.
Michael Kamen,
He's
or,
has a
or,
few.
orchestrated and conducted by American composer Michael Kamen.
I think he has a
Let me
few other good movies
let me
as
look
well.
him up. Let me look him up.
Yeah, look him up.
Michael
See what
Kamen
he's done.
songs. Band of Brothers, Robin Hood,
Oh,
Prince of
that's a good one.
Thieves, Die Hard, Brazil, Lethal Weapon, Don Juan of DeMarco, X-Men,
Hmm.
Iron Giant, The
I
Dead
don't think
Zone,
anybody can
Mr.
touch John
Holland's
Williams.
Opus. No one can touch John Williams.
No,
I mean, we just looked up those two guys, and I don't think any one of
I think
these, like
yeah,
as good as these guys are, I don't think
no.
they come close to Williams. Zach Lind, what's up, buddy? How are you? Good to have you here. So, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, or actually, before I get to that question, there was you brought up the one point that you thought was really interesting about the documentary. There was one point that I thought was really super interesting, is
Mhm.
when he was talking about the Close Encounters of the Third Kind 5-note piece. Right?
Yes.
Now, I've never seen Close Encounters, but I know the tune, right? Everybody knows the tune from Close Encounters. I've never seen the movie though. But he got on the piano and I play music. I wouldn't call myself a good musician or a professional musician or anything like that, but I
Mhm.
understand what he's talking about when he's talking music, and he's hitting these notes, and he hits a different note than the real, like on that fifth note, that last note. He's
Yes.
like he hit a different one. He goes, "Here's why this doesn't work," and he hits a different note, and he's like, "It's like a sentence." He's like, "And if I would have hit this note, it would have been the end of the sentence." But I hit this note, and this note brings the sentence to a different place and asks a question. Instead of putting a period, it puts a but, it puts an if, it puts an end, not END and AND at the end of the sentence. And it makes you think, it makes you go somewhere else. And I was like, holy shit, that makes so much sense. He
Yeah.
was literally using music as language, which
That's
was
what
so
I
cool.
thought that was I thought I wrote down that exact moment as well. I'm so happy you talked about that because I was like, this is amazing. Like he listens to music and some people say they can see music or whatever, but
Yeah. Yeah.
he listens to music and he can talk through music through notes. I thought
Yeah.
that was amazing. I thought that was
Yeah. I thought,
so freaking cool. Was
yeah, that
he
was
what did
awesome.
he say? He said like, "Oh yeah, this is like a sentence and a question at the end of a sentence. This last
Right.
note here."
Yeah.
I thought that was so freaking cool.
Yeah, that was by far that I was like, I have to remember that. Make sure you remember that. Make sure you remember that because I got to talk about it on the podcast. And Steven Spielberg is like a little fanboy of John Williams. Like he
Oh
was like
yeah, he
he's
loves the guy.
smitten with him. I love how he's wearing Wrangler jeans. Like he shows up to his office and gives him a hug, and he's wearing like $40 Wrangler jeans, like Steven Spielberg. Like
Yeah.
that dude could be wearing, $1,000 pair of jeans, but he's wearing $40 Wranglers. I love it. So what is your favorite score? Like if you had to pick out of all of those scores that he's done, that was in that movie, in that documentary, which are your favorite? And
Can I do
I'll give you two.
two?
You can choose two because I thought about this already. I know my answer. You can pick two.
Um,
Listener, tell us in the comments which is your favorite John Williams score. And while he's thinking, subscribe and hit that bell. Tell a friend about the show.
it's so hard. They're all amazing. They're all amazing. One has to be I
Yeah.
don't know if you're gonna agree with me on this
Okay.
because I listen to this every year around this time. Home Alone.
That's my number two.
Yeah, I love it.
That's my number two. And I like it even more because I didn't know he did it.
Ah,
I didn't know he did it.
yeah,
And I find myself whistling that song or humming that song. That's how I chose my two favorites. It was like, which ones of these do I hum or whistle or, think about throughout the
yeah,
year? And that Home Alone one is definitely one of them. And it's so much. I love it so much because it's so much different than the rest of it. A lot of his stuff sounds the same,
yeah.
right? And not in a bad way. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like his ET and his Superman and his Raiders of the Lost Ark, they have very similar keys to
Yeah,
them,
you could tell the signature. It has his
yeah,
signature on it.
but the Christmas stuff is
It's so
different because
good.
he leans on different instruments. And he said
Yeah,
it in the documentary. He's like, I leaned on flutes and harps and chimes and bells because it's Christmas and those are Christmas instruments.
and it's Christmas, but it's not like any other Christmas you've ever heard before. But when you
That's
hear it,
true. You know who it
you
is.
know it. You know
You know
what
what movie
time of
it's
year
from.
it is. Yeah,
Okay, so
I
that's
love it.
one. And that's my one. So we both have one there. What's another one? What's you like this? It's like I think of Home Alone as like a seasonal one, right? But then there has to be one that's yearly, like that stands out above all the others.
It's hard. It's
It,
good. Oh my god, it's so difficult because 'cause they're all so good, but
mine's you want to know mine?
yeah.
Mine's Jurassic Park.
Okay, that's great.
Jurassic. It comes from a lot of places. I Michael Crichton is one of my favorite fiction writers, so I love the story. I'm a science guy, and that's a science movie, right?
Yeah,
It's based in, the basis of it is in science. It's fantastical, but it's based in science. And the like that all of his scores, in my opinion, are actual characters
Yes.
of the movies, right? Like the Jaws score, there's
When he was
that
talking about
score is
that,
almost more important than the fucking shark,
yeah.
you know?
Well, that score is the character
Right.
because you don't see him because they had so many mechanical issues with that
Right. And a broken
shark.
shark. Yeah.
So that score was
Yeah.
Jaws, that was
And
the
so
shark.
simple. And so
Yeah.
simple.
And him
But like
talking about how he created that was amazing as well. Like, I think the first, what did they say? Like, Spielberg wanted it to sound a little bit more menacing or more like
yes. Yeah.
shrieking,
Shrieking, yeah.
shrieking. And he's like, "No,
They
this is
called
gonna
them
add
they
like a
called them temp
heartbeat."
tracks, right? They had temp
Yeah,
tracks. And what the producers would do is they would take music and they would put it behind the movie and show it to the composer,
yeah,
and just to give you an idea. And a lot of times people didn't like that because it would make you think in a certain way instead of letting you be creative.
uh-huh.
And he had a temp track from another John Williams movie that was like a horror movie kind of thing, or a thriller.
Yes. What was
And
it? It was,
I forget the name of it. It was it
looking
was it
right
wasn't a movie I've ever heard of. Um, it was like one of those 70s movies, B
Yeah,
movies that I never heard of. But that was interesting. But the reason why Jurassic Park is number one for me over like Star Wars or Indiana Jones would probably be a close second, right? Um, Jaws has that one like shark theme, but in between the rest of that is very like just regular orchestral kind of upbeaty kind of things, and you wouldn't necessarily know it was Jaws, right? There are other songs in there that aren't Jaws. With
yeah,
Star Wars, every song is a Star Wars song. Like as soon as you hear it, doesn't matter if it's Leia's theme or if it's Yoda's theme or if it's the Imperial March or if it's whatever, it's a Star Wars song. And that's
mhm,
how I feel about Jurassic Park. Like there are like 3 or 4 different themes in that movie that all are like you can see as soon as you hear it, we're going through the gate, or
yeah,
that the Raptors are coming, or you know what I mean? And or they're getting away in the helicopter at the end. It's just so good. So Jurassic Park, and that's like my number 2 movie of all time. So it makes
yeah.
a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
It's a tough one for me. It's
Yo, BX Gunner's here.
BX, how you doing, brother?
And Billy just says they
Um,
filmed the shark eating the kid Alex, but they didn't want to reveal the shark early. Oh, okay. Alex was one of the friends in the boat, I think, right?
yeah.
Yeah. But go ahead.
I would have to go with Star Wars because of what it means to me and
Yeah,
my
I
son.
would
My
assume
son
that.
loves Star Wars. So I'll always treasure those memories of watching it with him for the first
Yeah.
time and
Yeah.
him loving that music. But stylistically, I love the Harry Potter themes.
Mhm.
Um, and him talking about that in this,
Yeah.
how he was said it was one of the easiest scores he ever had to write.
Mhm.
He said it was super simple for him to do. He did it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing as well.
I thought it was interesting how he went about with sequels, how he didn't wanna do sequels unless he had to, but he did
Yeah,
them because he didn't want other people to fuck it up,
yeah.
essentially. I thought
But
that
then
was
he
real
also was
interesting.
able to let go when he
Yeah.
was very busy with his other works that he
Yeah.
couldn't do like the 4th or 5th ones. So he let that go and he trusted the next person to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it would have to be Star Wars, like the Imperial March, um, the Jedi theme, Luke and Leia's theme, like Yoda's theme, like just iconic, iconic music.
Yeah, I have that on vinyl. I have the double vinyl from
Oh, really?
'78. Yeah, from 90 I have the original vinyl from, like,
All right. You got
1978.
Disco Star Wars as well on that album?
Do I have what?
The, you ever heard the Disco Star Wars
Oh,
music?
no, no, I don't have that one. I don't have that one, but I do have the original score. I bought it off some guy who was selling all his records on Craigslist he wanted $100 for this box, and I was like, yeah, I'll give you $100 for the box. And there was Top Gun in there. It was Back to the Future. There was Star Wars, Kiss Alive,
Yeah.
Tom Petty. I had 3 Beatle albums. I was like, this is the best $100 I ever spent.
Oh, look what BX says. Beverly Hills Cop music. That's a good one. Do, 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 do,
He
do,
didn't.
do.
John Williams didn't do that, did he?
No, I don't think he did.
No, I don't think so. That would be good though. What? So in the chat, BX Gunner and Billy, if you're still there, and Zach, what are your favorite John Williams scores? We'd love to hear what you guys think about John Williams scores.
Yeah. E.T. is amazing too.
I only know the one song. That's the only one I know.
Yeah, but that's so
And
iconic.
I haven't seen ET in probably 30 years.
Yeah, me too. I listen. I
Billy
tried to
Judd
watch
says
it.
Home Alone. Billy Judd says Home Alone. We both agree with you, Billy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So
I think
good.
that one holds a special place in people's hearts because we all watch it around this time of year.
Yeah,
and it brings you back to your childhood.
So
Back to the Future. I don't think
think
Back
we
to
did
the
either.
Future, John Williams. But yeah, who wrote Back to the Future? That's all. That's all. What's his face?
It is Alan Silvestri.
Mm.
Alan Silvestri and Chris Hayes.
Da, da, da,
Oh, it's great. I think Indiana Jones is probably my second after.
That's a good one.
After Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's amazing as well. Yeah.
How about Short Round making an appearance and still sounding like Short Round after 35 years? Like he still sounds like Short Round.
The same thing. I was like, he sounds exactly. He looks amazing.
I love John Williams so much. I was like, wow, he didn't like Americanize at all. He's still a little Short Round.
I love him. He looks amazing too. How old is he now? He's like almost. He's got to be 50 plus. Geez. No,
I'm literally typing in how old is Short Round because I don't know this guy's name. How old is Short Round? Short Round, the character played by Ke Huy Quan in Indiana Jones, was 12 years old in 1984. Okay, so if he was 12 in 1984, add 12 to our age, so he's like 55, 54.
Yeah, he's in his 50. He looks great.
Yeah, it looks good. Well, 50 is the new 40. That's what I'm telling myself.
All right.
Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones, says BX Gunner. That's right.
That's right.
Right.
Close Encounters had a great theme. Oh, Superman.
He was
a great clip in the movie too of Christopher Reeve saying, "Without John Williams' music, Superman wouldn't be able to fly."
That's true. That is true.
So iconic.
People in the chat give because we are coming up on the end of what we have to talk about. So ask us some stuff. If you want us to keep going, I don't mind staying. But you got to ask us some stuff because we are out of material for the most part here. We have gotten through everything we wanted to get through.
Oh wow, he did the Tintin score as well. That's pretty good.
You love Tintin.
I love Tintin. I mean, that movie wasn't very good. If anybody doesn't know what Tintin is, it's a Belgium comic book from like the 30s and whatnot. But if you want good Tintin, you can read the comics, or HBO had an animated series in the 90s, which was amazing. Really, really good.
Well, Tintin was popular here, right? At one point, I think the comic books were popular in America.
Yeah, the comic books were popular.
I knew who Tintin was when you mentioned him.
Like the animated series, was very good. It was on HBO in the 90s. It was one of the best things. One of the best animated series. I think there's like 5 or 6 seasons of it as well.
Would you put that on that list?
Yeah.
Well, that list was only superheroes, though. That list was only superheroes.
I know.
You want to do it? I can bring it up now if you want. We can do
it.
Oh,
you want to do it now? Or you want to do a whole episode on it?
I don't know. Whatever you want. Maybe we'll just tease
a whole episode on it, I guess. We'll do that in next week or something.
Billy just says, why Rick Moranis return in the new Ghostbusters? Why didn't Rick Moranis return in the
He
new
retired from
Ghostbusters movie.
acting after his wife passed away, years
Oh,
ago. He wanted to focus on raising his children, so he retired
wow.
from acting.
You got questions, we got fucking answers. How do you
I
like
love
that?
Rick Moranis. He's a good guy. And one of
Yeah.
my favorite things in the world
Yeah.
is Rick Moranis when he was on Second City.
Mhm.
Uh, he does this bit um, where he plays Michael McDowell, Michael McDonald,
Yeah.
who sang backup on a Christopher Cross song. So Michael McDowell in that song, he just has one line. It's the name of the song is Long Way to Go or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's it's one of my favorite like yacht rock songs of all time.
And that means
But
a
like
lot.
so in the beginning, because Rick Moranis is driving it's like Cadillac convertible through LA, and you see him, he's driving, and then he gets to a studio, and then you hear the whole time this song by Christopher Cross is playing, and then he walks into the studio, and then it's his part, and he just runs into the studio and he sings his one line, he belts it out, and then it's just one line, and then he gets out of the studio, and then he's talking to the engineer, and then he's like, "Oh, you gotta sing it again," and he runs back into it again, and he sings that one line. It's one of my favorite bits of like kind of like Second City or SNL. I
Yeah.
love Rick Moranis. He's a genius. Little Giants, great
Mhm.
movie from the '90s. Really good guy.
That's
Honey, I
neat.
Shrunk the Kids.
Right.
Yeah, I love him. He's a good guy. Actually got punched out by some crazy homeless guy a few years ago in New York City.
Really?
Uh, yeah, it was caught on camera too. He was walking on the West Side, and some maniac just whacked him in the face and kept walking.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I love Mick Ramirez.
Mick
That's my
Moranis. Mick Moranis? What
yeah. I
did
know.
you say?
Sorry, I. If you've been wondering what I've been drinking, or
Yeah,
my
what are you drinking over there?
my friend brewed some beer
My
uh,
friend.
uh, a few weeks ago. It's like 10%,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to feel the effects of it right
Oh.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
goody for you.
Yeah, that's why Rick
Um,
Moranis talk there turned into Rick.
BX
Anyway,
Gunner says SNL is about to be off the hook. What do you mean by that, BX Gunner?
oh, they're gonna go off the hook. They're gonna go
Oh,
full.
with the election?
Yeah,
You think they'll get Shane Gillis back?
they're gonna go all in on Trump.
Billy just says he rocked in Little Shop of Horrors. He definitely did. Rick Moranis. Love Little Shop of Horrors.
That's a
Great
great.
movie. That's a movie I haven't watched in a long time. 'Cause it used to be on Channel 11 like every month.
Yes,
They would put Little
yes.
Shop of Horrors on Channel 11. And I
Feed
haven't
me
seen that in a
Seymour.
long time. Feed
Feed me.
me.
Yeah.
And the chick was
Who
hot
played? Who played? Who did the voice of the
the
plant?
plant. Well,
Yeah,
let's find out.
let's find out. Let's
Little
see.
Shop
Any
of
guesses in the chat? Any guesses? Just some no-name guy.
Cast.
The guy who played Skeletor.
I have his autograph. Can't remember his name, but I have his autograph. Rick Moranis played Seymour. Ellen Green played Audrey. What's the name of the plant? Does the plant have a name? Because Steve Martin is listed on here.
Steve Martin played the dentist.
He played the dentist. First customer, dental nurse, Ronette Chiffon. What's the name of the plant? Chinese florist. Okay, hold on. Let's. I gotta figure this out. Little Shop of Horrors, plant voice. How about that? Who did the voice? The voice of Audrey. That was the name of the plant.
I
Audrey the
guess so.
second. The voice of Audrey the second, the alien plant in the 1986 film Little Shop of Horrors, was provided by Levi Stubbs. Stubbs was an actor and the lead singer of the Motown group, the Four Tops.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Levi Stubbs of the Four Tops. Feed me. Oh, what I wanted to say
Oh, yeah,
was
look at Billy said it in the chat like 30 minutes ago.
Audrey
Sorry.
too. Levi Stubbs. Look at Billy. You we got questions, you got answers. Very nice.
There
And
we
even
go. There
James
we
Gunner
go.
says Audrey too.
Oh, look at
Wow.
that.
All right.
We got some Little Shop super fans over
Experts.
here.
In the John Williams, did you know that his son is the lead singer for Toto? Did you know that? I almost died. We're talking about Toto on the John
we
Williams
talking about
documentary.
Toto?
Yeah. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Did you heard that though, right? On the thing?
I think I might have missed that bit.
The daughter got on and said that she had two brothers, and one brother was the lead singer of Toto, and the other brother was I forget what he did, but he was he's in the music business too. Lead singer, let's see. Toto's lead singer is Joseph Williams.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, we're talking about Toto. I was like, I can't wait till Subby sees this. I was like, he's probably writing that down, but I guess you missed it. That's all right.
I missed that bit.
If you all don't know, Toto is if you want to know, you have to become a patron, I think.
Oh yeah, we
I
can't
think you're
talk
gonna have to
about
become
that
a patron.
That will be our first patron episode.
That'll be our first patron episode. If you want to know whenever we say, "Oh, you talking about Toto?" What's his face knows? Harito knows. He knows what Toto is all about.
Yeah, Rito knows what Toto is.
Rito knows. But if you want, you should subscribe and hit that bell and check us out on Instagram. Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube and get all the notifications for us. And what was the other one I wanted to say? Oh yeah, become a patron. The patron will be in the it's Toxic Fandom Podcast if you want to just go to Patreon, but the link will be in the description once I hook this all up. But it's there, and you'll get a sticker, and you'll get an extra half an hour of content. Much to Mike's chagrin, you will get another half an hour of content from the boys, and it's like unfiltered. The boys, like, you have no idea how more unfiltered I can get. What you're seeing is so filtered. It's extra filtered, Steve. Mav.
I don't know if you want to see this.
Well, if you like Toto, you'll like the patron episodes. I would love to get back to patron episodes, but you for $1. Everyone's got $1 a month. Just do it. Help us pay for StreamYard. It's expensive these days. Hopefully it'll go down in January. Hopefully the prices go down, but I don't see it happening. But I think that's going to do it for us tonight, boys and girls. Oh, boys. We don't have many girls here.
Man, no girls.
We don't have much.
You
Toto
scared them
here.
away. You scared all the Toto away.
Well, for Matt, I hope Matt's STD
Billy.
clears up.
Billy,
now we have another live viewer. Every time I sign off, or every time I say go, I don't know. We got another one. I see the numbers going up here. I don't know who it is.
Who's in the chat? Get in there. Say your name. Maybe it's Matt. Maybe it's Matt's girlfriend.
It ain't Matt. Matt's girlfriend is drunk or high on something. But the ex-Gunner says he'll have a listen back. That's good. Thank you, Gunner. I appreciate that. Go listen from the beginning. If you're not into politics, you might not like the beginning of the show, but hopefully you have an open mind and you're
We didn't
okay
say anything bad.
We didn't. And it's in my thumbnail. The thumbnail has the donkey and the elephant there. So you know we're going to talk about it. It's in the title too.
It's in the news.
It is. It's in the news, and it's not that long.
We didn't say anything wrong.
Be open-minded about it.
If you disagree with anything we said, we're good people. You're a good person. Yeah. Relax. Let's just talk, okay?
Yeah.
No reason to get upset.
No reason for it to get Western. But
that's an old school one out there, right there.
It is. That's an inside. That's inside baseball.
Inside baseball. That's old school too.
That's old school too, baby. Let's do it.
Oh my God. Man. I wish we could play those old ones.
Maybe that could be a thing on Patreon. You could pay and get old Patreon episodes.
You still have them?
I have. If I can get the anus like rebooted, I'll have access to all 50 patron episodes.
Oh my God.
If you don't know what the
I'm
anus
very
is, that's another
pumped.
inside joke. I bought an Asus laptop to do this podcast on back in the day, and it was the most fickle laptop ever bought. If I didn't have it plugged in exactly the right way, it would turn off. So instead of
Well,
calling
you
it
also had a
the
lot
Asus,
on that
no, I did
laptop.
not. I had a whole nother laptop for that. I
Oh,
had a
sorry. You
whole
had a whole
different laptop
hard
for that.
drive.
I more than one. Terabytes. But this is stuff you would learn if you were a patron. And Mike called my Asus laptop the anus, which was pretty appropriate because it didn't work all that great every now and then. What's the BX Gunner says? I'm a Puerto Rican from the Bronx. I'm the definition of cool. I hope so.
You are.
Did you get upset by Tony Hinchcliffe's joke? Just wondering, just asking a Puerto Rican. Right? Because he said a Puerto Rican joke and everybody got their panties in a bunch. He also says, Gunner says, I grew up on raunchy yo mama jokes in the NYC education system. I can take jokes. That's good. Not at all. He says he wasn't
No,
offended by
BX is a good guy.
Good.
BX is a good one.
Yeah, good. So's hers. Hers and Billy, they're all good ones.
Yeah.
There was a guy on here. I think it was the last time me and you did a show by ourselves. I can't remember his name, but he was talking. Oh no, it was me and Mike. It was just me and Mike. That was the day you fell asleep.
Yeah.
There was a guy on here. I can't remember his name, but he was talking to us all night. Him and Billy were talking to us all night. This kid was telling us stories. He was telling us where he lived and the freaking stores he went to. It was great, and we've never seen him again since.
Right.
And I think he subscribed, but he hasn't been in the chat since. So maybe I hope he comes back. No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. This guy had stories. But all right, that's gonna do it, everybody. So next week, Penguin finale. We're gonna do it. That's gonna be our main topic, the Penguin finale. Don't be late. Get here on time if you want to talk to us. We love talking to you guys. That's the most fun of this whole podcast is talking to you guys. Okay. Yeah. And hopefully Harito makes it back. Harito's probably very sad about the outcome of Tuesday night. But hopefully he'll get over it and he'll come back and listen to us and we'll have a good time. All right, everybody. Peace out. See you guys later.
Good night, boys.